All right, welcome on in everyone to another episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. We're going to follow up yesterday's episode with another known reproduction CSP episode. It was actually one that was requested very early on after we started the channel, but we held off on producing this episode until we felt like we had the pieces in place to do it justice and provide you the most accurate information. So today is the day that we're going to take a look at Chautauqua County 382 out of New York. This council was formed in 1941 as a name change from Chautauqua Lake Area Council, and then lasted only until 1973 when it merged with Elk Lick to form Allegheny Highlands. Now, most of the information that I'll be using today actually does not come from the most recent collecting guide because they have made some deletions and changes, which makes it a little more difficult to follow the reproductions that are known. There is a really great website that was specifically carved out on the Gilwell First CSP website. Again, that has no connection to our videos, but we certainly appreciate that resource and the work that those individuals have done. I will put a link to it below. It does in the video description does have some pictures as well, but it will take us through the reproductions when we get to that point. Let's first head over to the patch table and look at the one and only authentic first issue for Chautauqua County. It is defined with its bright, they call it lemon border, light blue and black background, bright lemon BSA, and large bright lemon fleur-de-lis. It does have very specifically a horizontally stitched background that does come into play for some of the reproductions and helping determine which one that we're looking at. I'm going to flip this over. You can see that the original is going to be a cloth backed patch. See if we can get our focus a little better there. There we go. Cloth backed patch. Again, that also helps us in sorting through some of the later reproductions. Now, there have been several reproductions made, some authorized, many unauthorized. We have a few of them, and I do feel like we have the reproductions that would be most confused with the authentic original. There are some other reproductions that are, most of the time, I've never seen other than a picture of, because I think there were lower numbers as far as produced, so they're even harder to find anyway. You're probably not going to run across one of them in confusing it with the original. Now, the first reproduction that was made, and the two that we have here, the reference material on Gilwell First CSP for the Chautauqua reproductions does list that these were both produced by the Allegheny Highlands Council. So once that merge had already happened, they produced these. The first one listed used to be referred to as an SA2. So if you're going by more historic classifications in collecting guides, this would have been classified as an SA2. It is worth noting that most specifically the yellow that's used here in the border and stitching is going to be more golden. And they do list the green here at the top as also being slightly darker as well. And the golden, and it's kind of a fatter border as well when we compare them head to head, is going to be the largest clue, because when you do look at production styles, the SA2 here, and I put SU because it is a reproduction, does have the same stitching construction style as the original. So from the back, it looks pretty similar, and the dimensions on the fleur-de-lis look very close as well. Let's go ahead and get both of these up here so we can compare them head to head. So they do call the original a lemon yellow. amongst other patches in the CSP world, it's not as lemony, if you ask me, as some others. Lemon is usually a lighter yellow. I would just call this yellow, but I would definitely say that the SA2 is golden in nature. And again, if you're looking here at the border, you can see that it's just kind of a fatter roll edge border than is on the original. In holding the patches, I will tell you that the true S1 feels kind of like a thinner patch just by a bit. The SA2 feels like a more heavyweight patch to me when I'm holding. Like it's literally thicker from front to back by just a little bit. It's noticeable. So the SA2 is probably the reproduction you're most likely to confuse with the original. Uh, Again, you can see, to me, it looks like the text is a little fatter. They're saying this green is a little darker, which it does appear so in person, and definitely the yellow is more gold. Now, another reproduction produced by Allegheny Highlands, which is also a pretty good reproduction of the original, is the what was called the SA3. Here, as they talk about it on the Gilwell for CSP website, the yellow is slightly closer. To me, it's still more towards golden than yellow, but it's better than the SA2 was. I'll interject this from the side. It's a closer yellow than the SA2 is, which is much more golden. However, if you can get a picture of the back, the SA3 is easy to differentiate because it is a plastic back. So you're generally not going to confuse this one, especially if you can get a picture of the back with the original, which had to have been a cloth-backed patch. Again, the yellow is closer. The colors overall are closer. The plastic gives it away. And to me, this still ends up being a tinge more towards golden than the yellows that were used in the original. Now, the other reproductions are not done very well, so it's pretty difficult to confuse them with the true, authentic, original first issue. They also have names associated with them, so these were all private issue reproductions. There is one called the Phillips fake, which does have a cloth back, but it's super squished. The text and green look totally different. It almost has kind of a lime green throughout the fish and behind the text at the top. The BSA is super thin. It just doesn't look super professional. That one is going to be easy to differentiate. The next one is called the Chicago fake, which I think doesn't even have green up here. It looks from the picture like it's blue. Also, the fleur-de-lis is way oversized. It's called generally known as the fat fleur-de-lis fake. And then the last one is referred to as the skinny fish, where the tail gets like super tiny. It looks as kind of not professional as the Phillips fake did. You can see images of all these on the Gilwell First CSP website that has a page specifically for Chautauqua. Again, I will have that linked in the description below if you want to go look at those. Those I don't feel are as easy to confuse with the authentic original. Also, I've never seen one available, so we don't own those fakes or those unauthorized reproductions at all. If you have questions or comments, or if you have them and can provide us with some additional just real life photographs, we'd love to share them out on our X account. We always like to be able to get those out to people so they can see additional representations, but we don't happen to own those. We do have the SA2 and SA3, which I think are the best reproductions, most likely to be confused with the original. So I hope this has been informative for collectors that are trying to differentiate which edition they may happen to own in your own collection, or if you're trying to find the S1. Hopefully this gives you some good guidance in what you're looking for to make sure that you are getting exactly what you're expecting. So that's another one. We have a whole playlist on the channel of known reproduction issues. I think we've had a lot of good response from people, and we've been trying to put forth not only the original but the reproductions side by side like we have here on screen, so you can differentiate those, see the differences, and know what you're looking for if you're trying to track them down, or just for entertainment purposes. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. New episodes are out every single day. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. We hope to see you then. But until then, thank you all for tuning in, and hope you have a great rest of your day.